I have 4 words that might help.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, it was defiance. And then it was confrontation. And then for a little while, it was fearless. And then it was terror.
Ooh.
And finished with terror. You really had me at the end. I didn't think I could take it much longer.
Is that good or bad?
No, that's good. I mean, it was the drama. Ask everybody else, wasn't the drama there?
I had one word that's pretty obvious. It was a lot of spiraling. Or spirals.
Ooh.
But I think I like the word, and it fits, but it's a little commonplace. I don't know if you want to use it. You might want to use it with some of the words that Nancy just brought up. There is an element of confrontation there, it seemed, but confrontation isn't the right word to use in this context.
Especially as a solo, yeah.
And I also had a critique about the number of technical changes you made. I think it's too much.
Okay, yeah.
It's like 6 different things that you change or more, and I think you need to narrow it down some.
Okay.
There's 2 other issues. The color ones are very sharp and in focus, but you often cut off your head. Your head's on, and it's like, what? And the black and white, the movement's really sharp and clear and wonderful, but the focus is not. When you go to black and white, the focus is nowhere near as sharp as the color.
And that's the original footage I'm working with. That's something I don't think I can fix unless I do a whole different video or unless I take those clips out. Yeah. I noticed that about halfway through and I was like, oh crap, this is too late to redo these. The camera that's sharp and focused zooms in, it doesn't have the wide angle. So but maybe
frequently your head's cut off.
Yeah, that's it because it doesn't have the wide angle and I can't tell till later.
Well, that's what the terror is. There's terror if your head isn't there.
Oh, that would be frightening.
Yeah.
So if anybody's watching this live stream, go back to the video before this that says, help me name this dance, because that's what we just watched, and I didn't start the live stream until we started talking about it. So sorry about that. But anyway, you can go back and look at the video because it's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my video for the month. I like spiraling as a title.
Mhm.
And I also thought last night, I was thinking, this is what it's like to live in a Gemini's head. This is what it's like to be in the mind of a Gemini, which I am. Constantly shifting gears.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Karen, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Kelly, I love where you dissolve into the abstract patternings.
The pixelating, yes.
I love that. It's gorgeous.
Cool.
And I would take one of Nancy's terms and call it defiant spiraling.
Oh,
I like that. Ooh.
How's that, Tim? Can we do that?
I like that.
yeah.
Defiant spiraling. I like that.
That's it. You got it.
Yay. Thanks, guys. All right. So go ahead, Nancy. Take it away.
Okay, better make myself bigger. This is the book that I am taking poems from, Berlingetti's latest poems. Sounds like somebody knows him already.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
he just recently died, didn't he?
Recently died. Yeah.
And he was like 102.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
He
Mhm.
lived forever.
He lived
Forever. And ran a bookstore up till the day he died.
He did.
Yes.
City Lights. Let's
City
hear it.
Lights.
So Karen, if we just stay as poets, we might live a really long time.
Let's hope. We already have Nancy.
Well, yes. Yes, you're right. I have.
Me too.
I will read two of his poems, and remember that he does love his city. So when I read Baseball Canto, he loves everybody in the city. He says, watching baseball, sitting in the sun, eating popcorn, and he would, of course, reading Ezra Pound, and wishing Juan Marcel would hit a hole right through the Anglo-Saxon tradition in the first canto and demolish the barbarian invaders when the San Francisco Giants take the field. And everybody stands up to the national anthem, with some Irish tenor voice piped over the loudspeakers, with all the players struck dead in their places, and the white umpires, like Irish cops, pressed in their black suits and little black caps pressed over their hearts, standing straight and still, like at some funeral of a Blarney bartender, and all face east, as if expecting some great white hope or the founding fathers to appear on the horizon, like 1066 or 1776 or all that. But Willie Mays appears instead in the bottom of the first, and a roar goes up as he clouts the first one into the sun and takes off like a foot runner from Thebes. The ball is lost in the sun, and maidens wail after him. But he keeps running through the Anglo-Saxon, and Tito Fuentes comes up, looking like a bullfighter, in his tight pants and small pointed shoes. And the right field bleachers go mad with Chicanos and blacks and Brooklyn beer drinkers. Sweet Tito, sock it to him, Sweet Tito. And Sweet Tito puts his foot in the bucket and smacks one that doesn't come back at all and flees around the bases like He's escaping from the United Fruit Company as the gringo dollar beats out the pound. And Sweet Tito beats out, like he's beating out usury, not to mention fascism, and beating out anti-Semitism. And again, Juan Marcial comes up, and the Chicano bleachers go loco again. And Juan belts out the first fastball out of sight, and rounds first. It keeps going, and rounds second, and rounds third. It keeps going, and hits pay dirt to the roars of the grungy populace as some nut presses the button to put on the tape recorded national anthem to save the situation. But it don't stop nobody this time in their revolution round the loaded white bases in this last of the great Anglo-Saxon epics in the Territorio Libre of baseball.
Cool. So now James is going to treat us to a piece of music. I'm not sure what you're going to play. I'll let you take it away.
Okay. So this is a song by the band Clem Snide. They were out of Boston. They were named after a character in the William S. Burroughs novels, Naked Lunch and a few others. And let's see, sure. I think everyone will be able to hear me this time, which is nice. We had some bass issues last time. The song is called Messiah Complex Blues, which I think is just a great title. So here we go. I wouldn't die for your sins. 'Cause what if I lose and you win? Friendship is all that we have in the end. But I wouldn't die for your sins. And I love you with all that I can, and bleed from the palm of my hands. I'll see you in heaven if we both get in, 'cause I wouldn't die for your sins. No, I wouldn't die for your sins. No, I wouldn't die for your sins. No, I wouldn't die for your sins. And the truth isn't so hard to see. Come to me, I'll set you free. My brothers and sisters, I'll let you in, but I wouldn't die for your sins. No, 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 I wouldn't die for your sins. Thank you.
So we're kind of a small group tonight, but Karin, why don't you take us away with a poem?
Okay, how many do you want me to read now?
How many you got?
I've got 2 and some haiku, whatsoever you want.
Why don't you go ahead and do 1 in the haiku or 2? I don't know. It depends on how long they are.
Okay.
I'll let you gauge it.
Not too long.
Okay.
These are all spring because this is spring. So the first poem was a poem that I wrote because I love Dylan Thomas poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a wonderful poem, and I loved how you read, Nancy, and Ferlinghetti. What a nice homage to him. So this is a poem that Dylan Thomas used the first line as the title, and it's the force that through the green fuse drives the flower. And it's sort of like the growth impetus. So the name of my poem is The Green Fuse, and it is dedicated to Dylan Thomas since I stole his line, part of it, for the title.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about raking the leaves that I leave on the garden, the little city garden, such as it is, to protect it from the plants from the frost. So in the spring, I have to get out there and get all those old dead leaves out. Here's the poem. The Green Fuse for Dylan Thomas. Unraked leaves from last fall, crushed by winter snow and wet melt, a compressed mat covering my garden. Cleanup delayed by a too late spring, complicated by sturdy green shoots already shoving their way up and through. The rake's edges too wide to be harmless, so kneeling, my forearm the rake's handle, my fingers its tines, carefully scoop dead leaves. Inadvertently brush hosta spears, startled by their powerful thrust, the mutual shock of something live.
Yes.
That was, I mean, they're scary, you know, they're pushing right through and they're live too. And this poem is a little complicated. It's my spring poem. And I want to recommend to everybody that they watch, if they have the access to cable TV, to watch a film called The Dig, which is about the Anglo-Saxon burial at Sutton Hoo that was uncovered in 1939 when England was on the brink of the war with Germany. And part of this film is brilliantly historical, especially the main man who was called the excavator. He named himself that. He's real. And the woman, Mrs. Pretty, who owned the property on which this remarkable dig was found. And the museums fighting tooth and nail to get this property. And other than that, there is a fictionalized part of some love stories, romances that are quite beautiful. And a lot of this film is very philosophical about the constellation of both history and astronomy. And I recommend it highly. Now, this poem references a poem, the ancient Anglo-Saxon epic called the Beowulf. They don't know who wrote it. A million people. You know, who wrote it? The only copy survived because some crazy Danish guy in the 18th century came to the British Museum and hand copied the only manuscript, took it back to Denmark, and the British Museum burning the only original manuscript that they knew of the Beowulf. So supposedly it does detail some historical events like this poem, this film, The Dig. There are some references to people who were real in the 4th and 5th centuries in Denmark, in the Frisian Islands that disappeared into the sea, in what we call the Netherlands, and British England before it became Anglo-Saxon England. But this is about the Anglo-Saxons. They are warriors, they're marauders, they're pirates, they're in search of land and treasure.
They're my people.
They're your people, yes. They're part of my people too.
And you taught medieval history at Brandeis, right?
I did. I taught Anglo-Saxon was my favorite part of it. So this is about a part of the Beowulf. I'm not using, only one line is directly from the Beowulf, but I'm not doing it in Anglo-Saxon. I'm doing it in Seamus Heaney's translation of the epic.
Yep.
You will hear that as different from the poems, the part of the poem that's mine. It's about how what happened to these terrible people is that they came to kill all these people in their mead hall, and then the ice froze them in and they couldn't get their boats out. So they had to stay with their enemies over the winter. Now, spring. When the ice finally breaks, all the images of restraint give way. Surely the Norse warriors, winter trapped in their tribal enemy's mead hall, feel desire's fire for their dragon-proud ship, move their feet apart, balances stance, readies for the swell. The water builds its sullen resistance, eyes narrow, shoulders and legs become the rhythm of the oars. Their Shope, Beowulf's shaper, nailed it. Foamy-necked floater, most like a flyer. The double kenning, one for boat, the other bird. Both swiftly move through water and air, without wings, with wings. Both escape the soil of earth, while fire, unconquerable, consumes the mind in desire's flame for the watery road to nowhere and everywhere.
Very good. Now, is your next poem going to be about the dragon in the cave?
No. I'm just going to read a couple of little spring haiku that have a totally different feeling. Okay. Let's see if I can find some that are really, really spring-like. Okay. New England spring.
Oh.
Now you feel it. Now you don't.
Yay.
Okay. This is only familiar to dancer people like Kelly or Sam. A late spring, elder dancer behind on the count. Maybe you too, Nancy. Okay, yes, okay.
Say it one more time, I missed it.
Okay, a late spring. Elder dancer behind on the count.
That's me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Here's one because we haven't really gotten yet the leaves out. Leafless branches, bones remember flesh.
Hmm.
Leafless branches, bones, remember flesh. Okay. And okay. Maybe one silly one, but this one isn't really a spring poem. So I'm looking through all these poems to find a definitely spring poem. Okay, here's one of the March ones. March rain, sidewalk, moonlit, shiny, slippery.
Ooh.
March rain, sidewalk, moonlit, shiny, slippery.
Wow.
That's true.
Mhm.
And then another one that could happen most times, tree roots, hidden sources of speech. Tree roots, hidden sources of speech. And the last one, because my bush isn't really ready yet, but it's coming. Everywhere yellow, the wildness of forsythia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Karen. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to read. I always love to.
Happy Passover also.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Here,
now Tim is going to do some Buteau for us.
Oh, good.
I love
Okay,
teaching you about
Go
that.
for
There you
it,
go.
Tim.
Wait a minute. Do that one more time, Tim. I'm going to spotlight you.
Yes, he did. Oh, it's wonderful. Do it again, Tim. Now I can see you. Hey.
There we go.
Oh, we have to get to be in person again so we can have whiskey.
Yeah. Oh,
James, how are things looking for performances in person? I know New York is thinking about starting in April, although Bill T. Jones, I heard, is doing something at the Park Avenue Armory in late March.
Oh,
That he got special permission,
Oh.
but it's like one of those things where it's sort of half capacity or less.
I don't know. They're giving us the option of greater density in the labs right now, so things are
Huh.
being relaxed somewhat. But of course, that's a situation where most of us are vaccinated. So
Yeah, we have to be
I
careful
can't give
though.
you a definite answer, unfortunately, and it looks like even with the vaccinations, we are having another uptick in
yes.
Massachusetts and elsewhere, and I'm hoping it doesn't get to be too big an increase. But I kind of keep my eye on the numbers every day, and it's eventually going to go down simply because the rollout of vaccines is going really quickly. So
yeah.
we'll get there. I even saw an article in the New York Times that we're going to have a surplus come mid-May, which is great. We can start maybe helping other countries. And,
Yes.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but I have a friend that called me. I hadn't heard from him for a long time, and he's like me, double vaxxed and older. And so I said, hey, come over. I'll make some dinner. But then I have a young tenant who lives here with me in the house, shares the kitchen. And so my friend said, oh, well, I don't know about that. And he's really scared, even though he's been, he's had the Moderna twice. And also beyond the quarantine time. But I think that people are really frightened and they don't want to risk. And, I refer to Dr. Fauci as Rabbi Fauci now, because everybody regards him as a sort of, religious guru. And when Easter comes, we can call him Father Fauci.
Father Fauci.
I think he should be doing a weekly fireside chat with the country because he knows what the hell he's talking about. And then people would know more. Each week they'd learn something more. But I think he's probably afraid he'll get assassinated by the crazies if he does that. So,
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, I think people really regard him as like it's ex cathedra. He's like God speaks, and that's what we need to do. And he's saying, I didn't go to the family Seder tonight. I did my own thing in front of the screen. Yeah, because he said, don't go. No, if he says don't go, I don't go.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you know, I've gotten some requests for people to perform next time around. And I'm just kind of wondering, you know, where you guys are at with continuing. I may or may not be moving to a smaller place June 1st. I don't know if I can find something suitable. I just, so that, and also late May is my birthday, so I'm not 100% sure about doing a speakeasy. So I don't know. And then James has offered, if we do it in person, he said maybe, you know, a few of us could be at his place because it's a little bit airier and bigger and, you know, all of that. So I don't know, we'll see. You know, it's all iffy, it's all up in the air at the moment. But I didn't know if you guys had anything about this forum that you wanted to share with me or tell me, you know, if you want. I mean, I'm thinking we'll do it again virtually next month, but after that, I just haven't made a decision about it.
Yeah.
I think you should say virtual just for another month so we feel a little more vaccinated and secure.
Yeah, because I don't want to keep any of the younger folks from doing it. And I know a lot of them haven't had a chance to get vaccinated yet. And I don't want to eliminate anybody.
No, of course.
Oh, thanks, Vicky. Vicky offered also her patio.
Yeah, I just saw that. That might be a great idea. But
it might be hard for me to dance out there.
That's just what I was thinking, or any of the other dancers who've come before, you know, who've done streaming stuff.
Yeah, we may have to do that if you have a big screen or something. Maybe we can do it that way.
No, but it depends. So isn't your birthday in May?
Late May.
Yeah.
Yep. And, you know, I just know that I can't afford to stay in this apartment in the fall because I'm not teaching. So I have to figure out something. Usually I go to New York, but I no longer have that place. And I don't know if that's going to change by September 1st.
Did they rent it?
I haven't heard. I assume they must have, unless they decide to keep it empty. But I don't really want to be in New York this fall, to be quite honest with you. I think the numbers are going to go up again before we're done. So I don't know. I don't want to be there alone. You know, what fun is that? Especially if things are only half open and I can't get tickets for anything. And you know, in classes, I don't want to take a dance class wearing a mask. It doesn't sound like much fun to me to be there. So, but you know, I'm kind of content to stay here and read good books. And
do you need any tenants for your place here, the Columbia Road one?
I will, because I'm going to have to rent it out. So
when?
I'm thinking either June 1st or August 1st or September 1st. I just don't know.
I may have somebody who would rent one of the rooms from you for June 1st.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, put us in touch.
She has a cat.
No, we can't have pets here. My landlord won't allow it.
So are you planning to sublet it? And
yeah, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I literally can't afford it, you know.
No, but I wasn't sure if you're just getting rid of it or subletting it.
I think it's too soon to do that because I don't know if I move into another place and it doesn't work out. I hate to let go of this place because it's such a great, you know, in many ways.
Rents have come down because people aren't here.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people want the 1-bedrooms. They don't want a group. They don't want a sharing situation, but I'm hoping that will change by summer. I've had a few inquiries, you know, from people who seem good prospects. I have no doubt that if it's rentable when the time is right, I'll have people. You know, that's never been difficult. Might be a little harder this year, but it's never usually a problem because the location's so great. But yeah, I don't want to. I'm also getting to the point where I'm sort of past wanting to have roommates, you know. Especially with everything that's happening and when we don't know about other strains and all that in the fall, I'm kind of leery of living with other people, you know. So anyway, so you know, transitions happening, you know, all of that, but I just kind of want to see how you guys felt about it. So yeah, I think virtual next month for sure, and we'll just take each month as it comes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that with my improv group. We've been, since we got booted out of Art and Soul back in last March, a year ago.
Yeah.
We've been doing a similar thing. And I'm going to open up my backyard for it.
Cool, with the rats.
Well, they're not there during the day.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Cambridge has a really bad rat problem, like all over. That's, not particular to your space.
No, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But we do have them at night. Yes. Yep.
I went over once to visit Tim on his birthday and we were like, because it was dusk. By the time I got there, it was like dusk.
Okay, Tim, tell me about your improv group.
Well, initially it was 4 women who had worked together for a long time, and one of them left. And so they invited me. So I joined, and it's basically a combination of movement improv, verbal improv, theater. We just make it up as we go along. And it varies from day to day. I mean, there's no plan. We will sometimes set up a superstructure that you can play within. And at Art and Soul, there were lots of props, so we could use props, and there were wall hangings you could pull. There were poles that you could use a pole.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff we could work with. And there were people I had worked with at the Dance Friday and Dance Freedom, 2 of them in the past. So it was a wonderful venue, but the Zoom part of it is almost like Zoom therapy, I guess. COVID therapy for the 4 of us.
But
Yeah.
I'm only asking because Contact Improv now is trying to reorganize, and they have a meeting on Tuesday night. If you're interested, I can send you the link of it.
I can't do it anymore.
Okay.
He's doing theater improv, Karen. He's doing theater improv.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah,
I know that Contact is trying to sort of reorganize and figure out what people can and cannot do with Contact because of COVID. I mean, nobody wants to go bumping all over anybody else now.
Well, that's it.
No. So what the hell are you going to do with Contact? So I think they're looking for ways out and ways to be together. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I can tell you the Zoom thing is as we're experiencing all this year, it's both helpful, but also often it just sucks. I mean, it just sucks. It's limited. There's only so much you can do. You're in a little box.
Oh, so I know we've been doing it too. Did anybody see Twyla last night?
Oh,
Yes,
Not last night, but
I made an extra DVD if anybody missed it. It was really
I
good.
thought it was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. But Eve, when she was doing that thing on the Zooms,
Yes.
no.
No.
Compared with what she did on a live stage,
Well, that's what
you see them in those rooms, and it's like,
Well, I think she came to that conclusion near the end.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
And Santo Loquasto thought, he was trying to be positive, but it was just. And I was thinking of Kelly the whole time. I'm thinking, well, Kelly's doing this.
This is what I didn't attempt to do because
And
I have to tell you quite honestly,
more interesting things, Kelly.
I have to tell you quite honestly that by the end of 2019, I was so burnt out that this was almost a relief to me because I didn't want to make another piece in 2020. And the last thing I wanted to do was make another piece on Zoom. Forget about it. Yeah.
No,
but what you're doing with the electronic experiment, Kelly, is more interesting. Twyla was trying to put stage dance onto Zoom dance and didn't work.
Yeah, it's not going to work. You've got to make something specific to video. And that's kind of why I've been focusing on the video editing, even though sometimes I overdo it a little. Speaking of which, Vicky and Karen, would you like me to replay before we end the dance I showed at the beginning? Because you missed it, I think.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you did? Good.
I did see it.
Cool. Yeah,
no,
I go a little overboard sometimes, but that one was kind of thrown together.
But that's what experimenting is about, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you're exploring, and I think that's wonderful. And I hope my critique wasn't harsh.
Oh no,
I hope it
no,
was
I'm
helpful.
immune to that. I'm the
Okay.
No,
stupid
your
monster. I'm
critique
immune
was
to it
on
now.
target. That's good. How could you be harsh, Tim?
Oh, you don't know me, sister.
Oh, he can
Please,
be harsh.
hear
That was
my
not
tone of
harsh.
voice.
That was not harsh. He can be
Okay.
way harsher than that.
I am sure. I am
I feel
sure.
like
He's
it's-
Irish, isn't he?
Oh,
Be harsh.
I
But
feel
the
like
good
it's
thing about the
so-
Irish is if we give each other a hard time, that means we love each other. It doesn't
Okay.
make any sense,
Yeah.
but that's what it is.
Well, it's if you care enough to give honest feedback, then you love somebody.
thank you,
Exactly.
Vicky.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I
That's-
love you too, Tim.
I love you too, honey.
I do really enjoy these little gatherings, though.
Oh,
It's like
yes.
it's just really fun to go back and forth, even if
It
you
is.
know.
Yeah,
it's
when we're
fun
so
for you guys.
isolated anyhow, it feels a little like old times, except it's a little weird.
It's a little weird, yeah. But still, it's fun.
It is
It's, you know,
fun.
enjoyable. And I'm only doing UMass once a week, private lessons once or twice a week, Zoom, virtual speakeasy. I feel for the people who are working all day on Zoom, meeting after meeting after meeting.
That's
That's
horrible.
got to be like James is doing a lot more of that. I don't think I could handle that.
I would
wanna
lose
do
my
anything
mind.
else on Zoom afterwards.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really tough because then folks who are doing that for work, they don't want to engage personally online. So then they really miss the personal connection, which is really sad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But also my eyes, and because everything I do, I'm obviously not working. I'm retired, so I don't have a job. But every meeting I have, every class I have, every poetry group I have, everything is virtual. And I'm finding that my eyes, by the end of the day, even now, they start to hurt.
Yes.
How many
Because,
meetings a day are you averaging, Karen?
well, at least 2, sometimes 4.
Oh my God.
That's a
And
lot.
because if there's, they meet, and then there's other committees, and then there's my college classmates who meet.
Well,
Then
maybe
there's
cut back a little. Maybe cut back a little on those things until we're back.
I bought myself this thing that you heat up in the microwave and you put it over your eye, and it's like having a warm compress, and it doesn't, it's not wet, so it doesn't dry out and get, it's good.
I have to say, I've really enjoyed doing the tarot readings over Zoom because it records them, and then I can give the recording to the recipient and they can listen to it a few times. And I taught a 3-part tarot class at Arlington Adult Ed, and I had a blast. It was really fun. And I was going to do one before all this happened. I was going to do one like a workshop in my living room or something, and that didn't happen. But I just got 6 new tarot decks, and so I'm ready to do readings whenever you guys want them.
Okay.
I really like doing it over Zoom. Actually, it's really fun.
Yeah, I'm going to do a reading in a little while
Cool.
when I'm at a point of making decisions.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining me with this.
Thank you, Kelly. This was great.
Thank you for doing it.
Waving.